Deputy Eugene Murphy, who understand is sharing his time with
the Deputy O'Keefe, and I want to just make a short contribution to this particular bill, and I welcome the opportunity to make a brief comment on it. I have to say at the outset, I agree with Deputy Fitzmaurice. This is a very rushed scenario, and that's an issue for many TDs in this House as to why this matter needed to be rushed through so quickly. And this party, and I want to make this quite clear because I've been picking up comments outside over the past few days, and I'm a little bit concerned that comments that Fianna Fáil don't want change, or some changes. We do want change, but we want it done in the right way, and we want time and space given to reform. And it's somewhat misleading to have a charge out there from people that Fianna Fáil don't want change. And the facts are there, that in October 2016 we published a bill which was totally committed to achieving reform in this area. Because I do believe, genuinely, I do believe, as my party colleagues do, that there is change, some change needed in this scenario, so that people have full confidence in the system we have. I think it's important to say at this stage that our justice system as a whole has been really good, and in a European context is often referred to about its equity and fairness. And while now and again you might have reservations about some judgments or whatever, generally we have a good system of justice. And I suppose you could also make the point that when you talk about political connections, I hold this view that everybody in Ireland has a political connection. Everybody in this country, they believe in this, they believe in that, they believe in a party, or some other party, they believe in independence. So I never buy into this argument about political connections. It's overplayed. And I do acknowledge that down through the years, that of course people, maybe close to a political party or another political party, were appointed into positions. But I think again, when you look at the overall administration of justice in the country, the vast, vast majority of those people appointed carried out their work diligently, very equitable and very, very fair. So, whatever concerns some people might have and the Minister might have about political appointments and why we need to have it very, very transparent, I think the way that justice has been handed out over the years in general has been good by our judiciary. It is true to say people have political connections, and you can say they are at an advantage if their names are on the list which goes to the Cabinet. And then, of course, it's often said that canvassing should be prohibited. Many people who are appointed because of political connections, as I've already said, turned out and have turned out and will turn out to be excellent judges. We should not have a system whereby, because a person is involved in politics, he or she should be excluded from subsequent nomination to judicial office. I think we should face this question head on. Why should they be excluded more than anybody else? What we do not know is if there are good people who apply to be judges and because they didn't know anybody in Cabinet or any deputy were overlooked and never got the opportunity of being promoted to the position of judge. For all of those reasons, the system does need to be changed. We need a recommending body that can identify who it believes will be the best person for the position of judge. We should have a recommending body that ranks individuals in terms of their suitability for that job. Now, under the Constitution, which is appropriate, the government have the final say. And remember, this is all very well laid out in our Constitution. Regardless of what system is in place or how it operates, the government can disregard the list of candidates provided by the Judicial Appointments Advisory Board and appoint a candidate of its choosing. That is the scheme that currently operates under our Constitution. However, it does need to be changed and broadened to ensure that it is fairer and that the best people, that the very best people, there may be people who we do not know and who do not have connections, that those people have an opportunity to be considered and appointed. The Fianna Fáil bill, which I remind this House again, was published October 2016, and I stress that point because of what I hear going out in some of the general public that Fianna Fáil don't want change. We actually were advocating change as far back as last October. But that Fianna Fáil bill established a Judicial Appointments Commission to recommend to the Government the names of the individuals who it believes would be the most suitable, based on merit, to be judges, based on merit. For each position, it will recommend 3 people. Now, I want to conclude because I know that Deputy O'Keefe has a major contribution to make, as has Deputy Keller and Deputy Byrne. I will conclude with this. Welcome back to Quangaland. The Quangaland that the Minister and the present Government were so vehemently opposed to. And they're right. There have been too many Quangos. But here comes Quango number 1 under the new system. And how much is it going to cost? Estimates is it will cost $1 million to start off. And as we all know, that Quango that cost $1 million will quickly go to $2 million and $3 million. In my view, and in the view of our party, that is very, very necessary. And indeed, it is extremely important that we point out that to the general public. There's going to be a huge wastage of public money on what has been proposed here, and it is not necessary. Last Concordia, thank you for your time, and I hand over to Deputy O'Keefe.